Well, good morning everybody. We start this morning with a paper given by Carmen Rodriguez. Carmen works at University Francisco Marroquín in Guatemala, you know this famous university. And the comment will be given by Professor Pierre Garello. I will introduce him afterwards. Carmen, please, the floor.
Thank you. Well, buongiorno, and thank you for being here. I know that there's a great opportunity cost to being here, which is either sleeping or being at the beach, or why not both, doing both at the same time. I also want to thank the Instituto Bruno Leoni for organizing this great seminar and for the invitation to be here. And yeah, it's been great so far. And today I'm going to talk about this paper on teacher evaluations, and I'll use a case study from Universidad Francisco Marroquín. In the different minds of people. That also applies to education. We also have a knowledge problem in education where we have teachers and we have administrators and we have students, and they all have that balance called knowledge. And we need to find mechanisms or loops or feedback loops or signals where students, teachers, and administrators can exchange and get feedback from each other, exchange ideas and get feedback from each other. So the goal of education is for students to learn. We may have different ideas about what they should be learning and how they should be learning, but we definitely know that if a student is going to a university, or this also applies for grade schools. If a student is going to school, it's because he's at point A and we want to take him to point B, where that means that he has been learning. And it is the teacher, the one who has all the methodologies, readings, pedagogies, resources to help the student learn. That's the role of the teacher, is to aid the students in their learning. And administrators, on the one hand, have to make administrative decisions. And so they have to decide whether they want to hire someone or whether they want to keep on having a teacher at a school or at a university. And then professors are every day in the classroom relating and with the students, and they are the ones who have the local knowledge about how the students learn and the pace at which the students learn and what helps the students learn. And not every class is the same, so every class is different. The course that the teacher is teaching, the students are always going to be different. So administrators can't tell teachers exactly how to teach. It can be done in a top-down manner. So teachers need freedom to cater their teaching resources and also to administrate the time in the classroom and the different material of the classroom. And they need feedback in order to know whether they're doing a good job as a teacher, and administrators also need feedback to make their administrative decisions. So what's this signaling that teachers can get to know what they need to change, what's working well, what the students like, and what needs to be improved? They need feedback. And so there are two kinds of evaluations. One of them is the summative evaluation, where you just assess at the end of something whether you like the final product. So if you're tasting food, you say, okay, this food is tasty. But formative evaluation gives people information as they're in the process of learning or doing something. So it could be done, say, at the middle of the semester, where the teacher can get information about what has been working in the classroom and what could be improved. And this is where UFM comes in. This is a picture of Universidad Francisco Marroquín, Guatemala, and UFM was started with the mission to teach and disseminate the ethical, legal, and economic principles of a society of free and responsible people. And this was almost 50 years ago that UFM started. And when UFM started, it was a really small school, where the founder of the school was super libertarian, and everyone else around him was libertarian, and people got into UFM because they were also libertarian. But that changed with time as the school became bigger. It now has more than 3,000 students, and not all of the students were learning about economics, and not all of them were learning creativity, and that's the idea for why the school started. So Manuel Ayala started the school, and so they were thinking, the founders of the school were thinking, what can we do to make sure that people who come to this school learn the principles of liberty and learn about economics. So they started this center called the Hadley Center. And the Hadley Center teaches at the moment 6 different courses that every student at UFM, no matter what they're studying, whether they're a medical student or a dentistry student or a psychology student, they all have to go through these 6 different courses. They don't take them all at the same time. They have to take them in order to graduate. And the Hadley Center has about 300 students per semester, and each class has between 9 and 12 sections. And for this research, I focused on the red class, Economic Process 1, because it's the one where they started implemented the teacher evaluation. A fun fact about UFM is that we don't have any tenure. So that means teachers are hired on their yearly contracts. So administrators at UFM really need to get feedback on how teachers are doing to decide whether they want to hire them for a second year or not. The first thing, so in the Hadley Center decided to re-engineer how they were evaluating teachers and how they were evaluating the work that they were doing to assess whether students were learning UFM's mission or not. And they did 2 major changes. The first one was, 3 major changes. The first one was to decide on a core syllabus that had what the core principles for each course, and instead of that, in the past, we used to have one syllabus where every teacher was required to teach certain concepts at a certain time. And they changed that and they just defined a list of core concepts, and now every teacher gets the list of core concepts for every course, and they decide how they want to teach those concepts. And another thing that changed, the second thing, is that a multiple choice test bank was created, and this multiple choice test has about 25 to 30 questions per core concept, and so the teachers may get this, the students get this exam the first day of class. We have a baseline exam, so the first day of class before the teachers teach anything, students take this test, and it's the same test that they're going to take at the end of the course. It evaluates for the concepts, and it's not about memorization of facts, but it's more about critical thinking. And the students at the end of the course, they can only go attend to the exam if they had 60% of the course completed. And the final exam is worth 40% of their final grade, so they care about how well they do on this exam. And faculty helped create this question bank. So there's a question bank committee that is composed of the director of the center and other people who choose the questions for every exam to make sure that every concept is tested. And the other way to evaluate faculty is with the student ratings of faculty. So this is done at the middle of the semester and also at the end of the semester before final grades are published and before the final exam. And it has 2 main parts. The first one is, it has a lot to do with the learning process and with the it has questions about the teacher. So for example, it asks, are the teacher's explanation clear? Is the teacher punctual? Is he presenting you with materials that aid your learning? And the final one, I think it's really important that it's done before final grades are published and before the final exam, because otherwise you would have teachers who are failing, students who are failing the course, giving bad ratings to teachers just because they're failing the course, right? You don't want that. And so this all creates this matrix. And so on the x-axis, you'll find the final exam grades that the student got, and on the y-axis, you'll find the student ratings of the teacher. And then you can assess and see how probably the best teachers are the ones who got really good teacher evaluations and whose students got really good grades on the final exams. Then probably the worst teachers are the ones who didn't get good ratings and whose students didn't get good grades on the exams. You may have top teachers that maybe the students didn't like them that much, but still they learned. And so maybe they're top graders or just top teachers or strict students. They weren't friends with their teachers or whatever, they didn't like them, but still they learned, so they're good teachers. And then you may have teachers who got really good evaluations, so the students liked them, but they got bad grades on the exams, which means they didn't learn. So what's the point of liking your teacher if you're not really learning, right? And another information loop that's created by this is that we can make comparisons between different teachers. For example, for economic process 1, where there's 12 sections teaching the same course to different students, we have the architecture students, which are the first ones on the blue, the first circle. The first section of students got around an average of 85 on the final exam. And then the other architecture section got an average of 68. So there's sort of a difference there. And it's the same type of students. So this is information that the center can get in order to know whether maybe there's a problem with the teacher or the class of section 2. Because why would the students learn less than the students on the first section, right? If they're the same architecture students, not the same, but they're all architecture students. And then the other thing that's measured is how much the students learn from the baseline exam to the final exam. So that's another feedback loop that's created. At the end of every semester, teachers at the Hazard Center meet and they get all this information is shown to the teachers. And also the top 5 questions answered by the students in the final exam and the top 5 worst questions answered in the final exam are shared. And this is also a great feedback loop for teachers. For example, if I'm a teacher of economic process 1 and my students aren't getting marginal utility twice in a row, then maybe I should change how I'm teaching marginal utility. And also, it's really important for the administrators to get this information, because if all of the students from the different sections and different faculties, different departments, are getting marginal utility wrong, then maybe our teachers aren't getting marginal utility right. So that's why we have teacher trainings too, on teacher workshops. And so they can be catered to those topics that are hard for the students and hard for the teachers. Maybe the teachers do know the topic, but they just don't know how to teach it. So we should also organize pedagogical workshops to teach those concepts. And another thing that's organized for teachers to cross-fertilize and share ideas is to have meetings with the teachers, to offer teachers opportunities where they can meet and exchange best practices and challenges. And there are many events organized by the center with this purpose, to have this exchange of ideas between faculty. Pedagogic workshops, I think, are really important, and also academic workshops. And they can be catered to the needs of the faculty. So what are the results of all this experimentation at the center? Well, students have been learning more. Every year, students have been getting better grades on the final exams, and the final exams didn't get any easier. The question bank was created 4 years ago. And the questions are the same. The students are getting better grades. I got as a muestra, so I just got 3 different types of students. Medical students, but they're usually pretty good students. They're pretty nerdy. Then I got psychology students because they usually don't really like economics. They don't care about it at all. And architecture students because they are just average and they sometimes care about economics, sometimes they don't. And they have all been getting better grades on their final exams. Another thing that shows me that there's been improvement is the percentage of right answers that students get on every exam. So the worst graded topics or concepts used to get maybe just 8% of the students would get it right in 2015. And then in 2017, it's like 55% of the students getting right a concept or a question. So that's also a big improvement. I think that offering clear objectives and aligned incentives where you know that you have every teacher teaching the same concepts, but you allow them freedom to teach them however they want, but you offer them feedback loops, you offer them signals, you offer them that information they need to change or to assess their teaching and to change it, be flexible and allow them room for improvement. That leads to better administrative decisions, and it also leads to better learning in the students. Now, I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all approach where every teacher should be evaluated in one way or another, but I think that you definitely need to find ways to give feedback to the professors, to the students, and it's feedback that administrators need too, right? And there are many other ways to evaluate, and I think it's better to have more than one, because one could be really biased. So it's better to have one. It's better to have 2 or 3 ways to evaluate faculty, but it's definitely important to do it, because otherwise you wouldn't know whether the students are learning, and that means you don't know where you're achieving your objectives as a school, which is to teach the students. And thank you.
The comment given by Professor Pierre Garrido. Professor Garrido teaches in the ex-Marseille University. He's professor in law and economics, and he currently runs the program, the European program in law and economics. And he's also president of the Institute of Economic Studies Europe. Yeah.
Thank you, Jean-Pierre. Thank you, Carmen. I like the paper. I like University Francesco Marocchi. I was lucky to visit the university and to teach there some years ago. And I've learned the paper that they don't offer tenure. So one of my dreams was maybe to escape to Guatemala because Macron is asking us so much. But then because our university are getting worse. But if you don't offer tenure, then maybe not enough incentive for me. I said I like the paper, feel like maybe I will come back on some particular point you make in the paper. But I have a problem, so that's why I have a problem in my domain. The problem is that I think the title is maybe not the right title, or the use of the way you bring Hayek in the story. Now let me explain. As you said very clearly in the presentation, I mean UFM has a very precise goal. Okay, that's set up right from the start. It was started when the university system was a mess in Guatemala, and on top of that, we're free market ideas were not well known. So the founder of the university had a goal, and they say we want this, we want people to know about the principle of free society. Okay, and so here in the paper is about efficiency in teaching, but in teaching something very specific, because the founder of Francesco Marocchi have decided that that's what everyone should know about, okay? Now, if you take efficiency in that sense, then I get the paper is fine. So knowing that you want to teach, I don't know what, French, or you want to teach the principle of a free market society, you know, how do I organize myself, how do I get the feedback, and so on and so forth. And look, there is probably a good, you know, many ways, many techniques we can use, and I'm sure you are performing quite a good task in that respect. Now, of course, when I first saw the title, I said, "Oh, this is about teaching and efficiency," but I was more thinking about a kind of what they now call dynamic efficiency, you know, like the discovery process, you know, discovering and discovering not only new method, but eventually discovering also, you know, new principles, so to speak. And therefore, you know, what I was expecting was more on this system is more likely, or higher education system is more likely, you know, to bring new discovery in way of doing things, in what should be taught, and so on and so forth. And of course, your paper is not about that. Your paper is much more narrow. Now, you know, if I try to comment directly on the paper, I got nothing much to say. I love your. Could you put your table? The figure 2, I think that was really interesting. I mean, you know, the idea that you should be careful on how the student perceives the teacher, and yeah, that's one things. Because it shows the difficulty of evaluating the teacher. You get the feedback from the student, the feedback from the student is not good enough, the feedback from the grades, so to speak, as well. And by the way, if you go back to the next one, when you compare the two architects, yeah. I mean, again, here this shows the power, but also the limit of the experience. I mean, you need to give the same exams to everyone. I mean, otherwise, you know, an easy reason why, you know, one group is not performing as well as the other, because they didn't get the same question. So this exercise is interesting, but again, it's limited in that sense. You need to know ahead of time, you know, what will be tested and what the question will be, more or less. Okay? And now, as a teacher, of course, you know, you know, as a university professor, you know, I see myself as requiring more freedom in what I teach, and you know, the kind of question I want eventually to ask at the end of the class and so on. Okay, so maybe what I would like to do is, you know, is to build on maybe the very first thing you have in the paper, which is the reference to Hayek. You know, I was, you know, one of the things I did when I started reading the paper, I went to the, you know, to the end to see the references. We often do things like that, and I was expecting to see a paper by a British economist by the name of Martin Ricketts, and I could not find the title. Maybe someone here remember that book. It was a book on how to manage a university. It was published by the Institute of Economic Affairs. So I had it in my office, but I could not find it back on the you know, on the internet. Now, what I like about the book, which I read some you know, 15 years ago, that's why I don't remember the title, but Martin Ricketts was a, you know, Austrian economist, and wrote a lot on law and economics institutions and how to manage firms and things of that sort. And so his book on the university was very interesting because he was explaining that this is a very specific domain. I mean, it's not an ordinary business. You know, a university, and actually, if you look at the history, you had all kinds of universities. Some of them were run by the students, so the students were paying or hiring the teachers, and some of them often were run by the teachers. You know, they get together and they now, why is it so difficult? And I guess as an economist, one of the answers would be because the kind of thing you are selling, okay, let's put it in supply and demand, is definitely an experience good, which means that you might discover the value of the teaching maybe 10 years down the road, or maybe 20 years down the road. I mean, it is not clear exactly what it is you want to convey. You want to learn how to learn, as we sometimes say. So unless, of course, and here we are back to your paper, it's more of a vocational school where you are trying to train someone on something specific, like I want to teach you Italian, I want to teach you, something like that. I want to teach you the principle of free society, and so on and so forth. But if you think about university, which I thought your paper at the beginning was all about, just reading the title, then there is some problem here, because you are selling something you don't know exactly, the quality will become, evidence as you, years down the road. So the management of, everything related to education, I think, is difficult for that reason. Now, I'm a university professor. I'm also a father, and of course, the two, have some similarities. In the sense that, you try to convey things, but at the same time, you want that person to develop, what that person is. You want them flourishing, so you don't want to direct them too much in one direction. And again, this is a problematic, different from the one you have in your paper. So, back to Hayek now, I guess. If you want to make a reference to Hayek, which you did in the first section of the paper, then you would say, because it's so specific, because the product to sell is probably hard to define ahead of time, then probably we need that discovery process to take place. We need to have people trying different way of teaching, people trying different way of testing, and so on and so forth. Maybe more in education than anywhere else. And the paradox probably is that we have probably less competition in education than we do have in other fields. Why? Because the stage, last century, took over, so to speak. You told me, as we were discussing, that the name of your college was the Michael Polanyi College for Education or something like that. And that's the point that Michael Polanyi was doing in The Logic of Liberty, which is a wonderful book. And his idea that if you want to discover things, you need freedom, you need people to move in various directions, and so on and so forth, which actually I had last year twice the opportunity to send emails to some of my colleagues and dean, quoting Michael Polanyi, because he frames the idea that if you want to discover things, you need to have one big national program and put billions of euros in that program. While Michael Polanyi is saying that it's the opposite. If you want to discover a new path, then you should let people experiment, various things, and so on and so on. I guess let me put it that way. The good thing about the University Francesco Marocchese is that they understood the idea of competition. There was a system that was not working, and they decided to say, well, if we got some ideas, let's try following our own understanding of what education should be all about, and so on and so forth. But so I guess the point that we should not really try to copy necessarily what Moroccan is doing, but we should definitely spread their spirit that what we need is more competition among universities. And I guess the question of how you should evaluate teachers then will come as a byproduct of that, broader competition thing. And I think you should mention maybe that in the paper. You know, what is pushing Francesco Marocchi into trying to entering that relationship with their teachers and their students and so on. As I was reading the paper, and then again, let me talk about what I know, which is France and the French university system. You know, in France, we have probably the most nationalized and centralized system measured here. I think it's fair to say we almost have no private university in France. I tried, by the way, twice to start a private university without success. And that's why I'm still at Aix-Marseille University, the largest francophone university in the world, 70,000 students, unbelievable. The Red Army is nothing compared to it. But you know, we have those smart technocrats that run the whole show. And so what they do usually, they look at other, first they see that people no longer learn French to come and study at La Sorbonne, that was the 16th century. Now they learn English and they go and study in the US or they go study in places like that. So they say, okay, let's do what they do. And basically what they do, that they copy what they see. So they see in the US that, you know, they have some PhD department with few well-selected students. They see that they are, and so they say, let's do the same. But you know, again, they take the picture. They don't see the process. And I think I remember it was in The Economist years ago. There was a paper on the universities, and that paper was saying that you know, you have the French system, the German system. And then you have the US, and say the US, what is great is that there is no system. You know, it's a competition. You have all kinds of things, and so the idea that, like often, you know, the French technocrats, they don't understand that what matters is the discovery procedure, right? And they keep trying to copy what they see that works, but not the process that leads to it. And you know, I guess this was my main point reading the paper, in the sense that you focus on something which is interesting, and again, I learned reading the paper, but I think what is more important to understand is that what matters is the process. The fact that people like Musso, who founded Francesco Marocchi, you know, they have this entrepreneurial spirit in education. You know, this is really the thing. Now, how do you manage that relationship between, as you said very well at the beginning, the administrator, the teacher, and the students? That's a really complex relationship. Once again, I feel you can try different things. I mean, it's not, and again, it will also depend whether it's a vocational university or something where you try to understand, you know, philosophy and you know, that we're probably here you want teachers that tackle the thing differently, and you want diversity among the teachers, and you want to leave them the freedom of teaching the way they want. So that was you know, my main remarks. The last thing when I read the paper, I remember, let me end up with this little anecdote. It was about 5 years ago, right after the merging of the two economic departments. Jean-Pierre was my dean in the economic department, but then unfortunately, because big is beautiful in France, they decided we should merge the two economic departments in a big one. Now, the good thing for Jean-Pierre is that he was close to retirement, so he didn't have to suffer so long. But I'm still in, you know, in that big economic department, which actually I left from the law school a year ago. But anyway, so it was there, so big university, and once we had two very smart person that were hired by this huge 70,000 student university precisely to set up a system to evaluate all the courses. Okay? And I remember, so they gave a talk, wonderful PowerPoint with all kinds of things on the top of the top you can do to evaluate teachers now. And you know, they were really good, they knew what they were talking about, and that was interesting. Now remember, they were talking, I was asking myself, because they were complaining that there were only 10 in that service. And I was, just thinking that, well, this little thing probably cost us at least €500,000 per year. Okay, because each one of the salary, in France, it's nice. And, when you don't have a shop for the board, and to know that they spend €500,000 on, or maybe €1,000,000 on evaluating the classes, it's kind of, give me first, some good video projector, and then we'll see how I can. But then the question also that came at the end, so everyone, it was the board of the economic department, the board meeting, and then people asked questions. And the first question was, who is going to have an access to the evaluation? Now, in French, you have to be careful. It's not like in Francesco-Marocchini. So basically, only the teacher and eventually the dean had access to the evaluation. What I understood in your system, it's broadly shared. No? People know how the other performed, so that puts pressure on each other, I guess, maybe. And then question number 2, which is also the difference with Francesco-Marocchini. The question was asked, and so if the evaluation is bad, what's going to happen? And people say, well, basically nothing. You're a civil servant, you work for the French university. They won't kick you out anyway. I mean, I've seen colleagues that work for us every day, and they still teach. I mean, well, kind of. And here again, Francesco-Marocchini is different, because I guess if someone performed poorly 3 or 4 years in a row, if you don't get tenure at Francesco-Marocchini, something therefore will happen, it will be a bye-bye thank you, something like that. So again, my anecdote leads to the same, my main point again, what comes beyond, the evaluation itself, you perform the evaluation, is a general framework. What's going to happen if you perform poorly at evaluation? And if it's a private university in the competing system of higher education institutions, then that will work probably very well. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.